Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Seelum.
Cody, tonight is our Colorado preview as we go into this week 7. I went back and listened to our season prediction show, and we were just about spot on. Hopefully, we can get to 6-1. Uh, Unfortunately, this was the game that I did predict that we were going to get an L, but unfortunately, we got a loss in last week's game against Cincinnati. But my one question for you is, what are your vibes this weekend going into Boulder?
I think for the sake of your goals of wanting to go to the Big 12 championship, going back to the Big 12 championship game and shooting for a spot in the college football playoff, this is going to definitely be kind of a must win essentially because you're behind the eight ball a little bit with the Cincinnati game, considering that they're going to have the tiebreak on you. And with the way Texas Tech is looking, they're the obvious front runner. And the resurgence of Arizona State, BYU's looking really good. TCU is a contender, and Utah as well as a contender. A lot of things ahead, like a lot of good teams ahead of you, and you, and now even Cincinnati's potentially in contention for the Big 12. So you really want to be able, if you're Iowa State, you got to go win and this is the must win. Like maybe it isn't like must win like panic button type of deal, but to give yourself a shot, you got to basically win out. And I think that's what this team understands, and they know this is what kind of they've been training for, is what they test for. They want the adversity, and I mean they got it here. So really good opportunity for Iowa State to rebound essentially and keep themselves in the race for the Big 12, heading to their second bye week of the season.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's definitely a must win if you still want to have your season goals in front of you. Um, yeah, I think the vibes are we got to go and win this game, bro. Obviously, it's easier said than done. But obviously, Iowa State is not going to take this team lightly. Obviously, yes, Colorado is reeling right now, but this is the exact trap game that usually gives like a team like Iowa State trouble. Like going, and this is a focus game too, because you after this you're going right into the bye week, so you want to have good vibes going into probably your most important part of the season. Going into that, and getting a win here would be huge for the psyche of this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean one of the things that obviously has been the talking point are the injuries. I mean, the injury report came out yesterday. We're going to get an updated injury report about Iowa State versus Colorado in about an hour and a half. But as is listed right now, obviously the main guys out: John Tess Williams, Jeremiah Cooper, two guys out for the year. But also John Cummings Coleman is listed as out as of yesterday, and Kyle Conradi has been moved to doubtful. Matt Campbell did mention in his press conference this week that he's not likely to play, but he is progressing well, and it sounds like perhaps we can get him back by the BYU game, but I'm not expecting him to play. And then Carson Hansen is listed as questionable after suffering a concussion, which kept him out of the second half of the Cincinnati game. Also, Carson Brown and Cam Smith are listed as questionable among the Iowa State side of things. Colorado is kind of bringing a laundry list of injured players as well. Some names that speak out are defensive and Arden Walker, who's listed as doubtful, and then wide receivers Hakeem Williams and Carson Westbrook are listed as out. Among the questionable include defensive tackles Mari McNeil and Anquan Barnes Jr. And yeah, so my understanding is not too big of impacts, but it does sound like 53 Arden Walker is a huge piece of the defense for Colorado. So, I mean, both teams are coming in limping, and we're only halfway through the season. So, I mean, that is the grind of the Big 12 season, but it is crazy just seeing both teams with a long laundry list of injured players.
Yeah, man. It's really about just surviving to get through the year right now, man. It's like everybody's basically going to be the walking wounded, but it's really just about just holding on for dear life and just getting to a place where at least you could have some type of good health. Because really, that's really just a thing uh, for teams is just to have good health, man. Because
Mm.
it's that's sort of like a blessing in itself. Uh, but anyways, let's go into more into this matchup. Um, let's talk about the Iowa State offense versus the Colorado defense. So I mean, I will what I will say is that I know that Colorado definitely likes to play straight man on man defense. So I know that they're gonna play Rocco straight up, and they're gonna try to they're gonna try to get pressure on Rocco. So hey, these running lanes could be open if there's a chance to scramble for him, and I expect probably Iowa State to take shots in this game, especially if Colorado's gonna play straight up man defense.
Mhm. Yeah, and the big thing is, like we mentioned before, those big shots are always there for Rocco and the wide receivers, and that's been one of the also the big things that has been a little bit underwhelming so far this year is the lack of wide receiver production. We talk about a lot of drops have been committed by the wide receiving group, and you still need like some emerges out of that wide receiver group. Uh, but I mean, Chase Sowell is definitely the number one wide receiver on this team, no doubt. So you know he started to come into form, but you still want to kind of see more out of the likes of Brett Esselson, Dom Overby, Carson Brown, and David Townsend. And I think you just need to see something more out of them. And then the tight ends, which we always talked about them being a huge piece, but they kind of disappeared late. They've been not as in the game lately. And we saw them in the Cincinnati game. And I think it just comes down to the fact that the team got down so much so fast that you couldn't really do what you wanted to do. And you had to take those shots to try to get back in the game. You're playing behind basically the entire game. So you couldn't necessarily run your like style of offense. And I think for Iowa State, if they want to avoid having to do that again, then they need to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that they get, including converting in the red zone, because that was the big thing that Iowa State couldn't do in the second half, which ultimately led to them losing, was going down into the red zone, but not being able to produce points off of that.
Yeah, it was absolutely weird. Like they had three or four chances in the red zone, and like Cincinnati did everything in that game to give you that game, and they just couldn't capitalize. I was there in out. Obviously, I was there in person, so that was
Mm-hmm.
sort of disappointing in that sense. But having a team like this where you'll be able to move the ball, and I just think more than ever, it's gonna be key to get started fast, man. Like as you can see, this Colorado team has jumped out to 14-0 leads. Obviously, these they gave those up and they were on the road. But what you don't want to do is give a team like this hope, a team that's already like basically a wounded dog. Like you do not want them to have the home team on their side. Otherwise, it spells trouble for Iowa State. So I think getting the run game going, and Abu now knows that he's going to be the bell cow of this offense. So being able to get those running lanes going, I think with him being able to run north and south, I think that could bode well. And hey, maybe with them playing man, that means probably that the middle of the field is probably going to be open, which means that tight ends could definitely feast in this game. So I expect the tight ends to be a huge part of the offensive game plan in this game.
Mm. Yeah. You mentioned Abu Usama, and one of the things that was mentioned in Matt Campbell's presser is Abu Usama having to handle the expectations. Obviously, he there were criticisms of him not being able to necessarily go north and south. He would probably take too many cuts, but it was mentioned in his conference. Actually, I think it was Taylor Mauser that talked about Abu Sama. Abu Sama does best when he has. It's just when things are very simple for him. And it's just lining up with the pistol and not overcomplicating your cuts. Abu Sama is preferred. Like they do like it more when Abu Sama just takes one cut and just jumps into a hole rather than try to cut it outside. So realistically, if the offensive line for Iowa State can give Abu Sama those north to south running lanes, and that will give Abu the opportunity to not just jump through the hole, but also be the home run hitter that we know, like we've seen him do at times. So we'll love that for Abu Sama to get the ground game going, and from him to back to the wide receivers, Chase Soul is definitely been gotten better and better. And what's crazy is technically this is a former team of Chase Soul's. If you remember correctly, I believe Chase Soul was on the Colorado team the first year Dion got there before Sowell transferred to East Carolina and then ultimately ended up at Iowa State. So in a sense, it is kind of a homecoming for Chase Soul.
It's a homecoming slash revenge game, I think, because I think he was one of the players that got let go from the roster that was when he got there, when basically Dion got there and basically got rid of everybody who he didn't think was good enough. So hey, this could definitely be a chip on the shoulder game for Chase Soul. He's like, hey, you didn't think I was good enough? All right, I'm gonna go off against you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna this is gonna be a game where I think that he could this could definitely be where he goes off in this game, or maybe an X game where he goes off. But yeah, him. I think all the receivers in this game, because they definitely did a great job in last week's game. But yeah, I think we're gonna see them make plays and the tight ends make plays. All right, we're gonna move on to Iowa State's defense versus the Colorado offense. For at least maybe what you saw in the or what you heard or what you have seen this up to this season, Cody. What do you think of this Colorado offense?
I think this offense does enough to obviously they get out to early leads, but they're not able to maintain those leads. And I think it comes down to stagnation of the offense at times. But you like just the ability for them to get up early. You don't want to like obviously risk going down early because we saw a prime example of letting a team pilot on you for not just a quarter but a whole half when Iowa State was at one point down 31-7. So if you're Iowa State's defense, you don't want to replicate what happened in the first half in Cincinnati, not being able to tackle at the point, get blown coverages and other things like that. And I think part of that last week's game plan was because maybe you were trying to cover for like overcompensate for the loss of Jontes and Jeremiah, and that led to the middle. That led to a lot of like those running lanes being really open. The middle of the field was wide open, and Cincinnati took advantage of it, whether it was the running backs or it was Brendan Sorsby himself. And obviously, the physicality as well in that game was it was clear on that day that Cincinnati just wanted the game more, and that's something that cannot happen again if you're Iowa State. So Iowa State just needs to come out, be the more physical team, and really show a lot more effort in that game. Otherwise, things won't go well. But Iowa State did make some great adjustments in the second half of the Cincinnati game. So that first half, I think, has clouded a lot of the minds of Iowa State fans just seeing that, and I think they've thought like they're thinking, "Oh, this is going to happen again." I think we're missing the picture here. Some might be missing the picture sometimes when you see how bad of a performance that was. The second half was really good from the defense, and they held Cincinnati to only 7 points. So it was just improvements made within the half. So if Iowa State's able to do what they did in the second half against Cincinnati and put it to the entire game against Colorado, then that really gives the defense a great chance for guys to make plays and step up it to replace what has been lost so far.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing that I just observed with this Colorado offense is that this Colorado offense is prone to making mistakes. So if we're able to have Caden Salter being able to maybe just have to matriculate the ball down the field. And I think that's why I think more than ever, special teams and Tyler Perkins are going to be huge, especially being in the high altitude. Those kicks are going to go far.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to have them drive 80 to 90 yards every single time, Colorado is going to be prone to make a mistake because I mean, they're deep, like you said, their offense sometimes does stagnate, and Caden Salter is prone to making mistakes. Like you said, you do not want this offense to get any confidence. They do have weapons on this team. I believe they have was it Kendre Miller,
Mm-hmm.
the former TCU wide receiver,
Yep.
who they'll line up in the backfield, and they'll also take reverses. So watch for him to be a guy And obviously, I believe I have another talented receiver who I cannot think of right now. Um, but those guys are going to be in the pass game. Their run game is pretty good too. But yeah, like you said, Cody, tackling at the point of attack, and being able to at least get maybe some type of pressure. I do think that we're probably going to see Iowa State maybe bring some linebackers on to pressure him because I know that Caden Salt. One thing that might worry me is that if like last week, I think we saw obviously when things were covered that Brendan Sorsby was able to find those running lanes and scramble. I think that's going to be a thing too, where it's going to be crucial on those third downs to where we gotta have somebody there, and maybe that's where we see a spy this week. Maybe we see um, Carson Willick or maybe Caleb Bacon as one of those spies on those third down and sevens, third down and sixes, to where those you can scramble for like a first down. Maybe we'll have a spy on those situations. But yeah, I think if we and I think also think last week like they were like sort of overcompensating for how the corners were in that game, and
Yeah.
the corners played great in that game, so they ended up adjusting uh, in the second half, and I think that's closer to what the Iowa State defense we're going to see in the second half than in the first half.
Yeah, and then we mentioned altitude. I mean, do you think that plays in favor of Chase Smith, considering you mentioned the kicks are going to go longer? Do you think in those situations where a field goal, like you have the same distance, do you trust Chase Smith to make more field goals in Boulder given the altitude, or do you still try to be a little more aggressive on offense and be more four down territory and trust Taylor Miles and Rocco Beck?
I think it's going to be all on the offense. I still think that maybe uh, Chase, they'd probably give him a chance, but I think his confidence may have been shaken from last week because it's not like it was a bad kick from last week. I think it just went right.
Mhm.
But like you said, it could. Who knows? It could, and they could give him another chance. But it's probably going to be something within from 35 yards in, and I think that's going to be a spot to where they're going to have to maybe line it up in the middle of the field if they're in that situation. But I think anything from probably from I think the 40-yard line in is like four down territory. Like
Mhm.
obviously you saw last week when we were made it to the red zone to where like we had chances but we just couldn't execute. So I think a key is going to be execution. But I didn't put this in the banner, but we're obviously gonna do our three keys for victory, and then we're gonna do score predictions. But Cody, for you, what are three things that you want to see in this game from Iowa State for Iowa State to move to 6-1?
Obviously, the big thing is don't get down early. Don't let Colorado pour on two scores early on. Don't let them get up 14 or 17 nothing. That's going to be number one. So the defense is going to have to do a better job at making plays defensively, not letting Colorado get extra yards after first contact. We saw that quite a bit where Cincinnati, we did meet him at the first point of contact, but they were able to get extra yards because we'll get a guy, but he'll be able to chug on for another 6 or 7 yards to get like a first down, and that just killed them around, like killed the physicality of our defense. And obviously, we saw them truck Carson Willis twice, and so overall, you can't let them get on. So you got to assert yourselves defensively. Number two is being able to finish in the red zone. And we saw, yeah, I don't want to keep going back to tonight, but it's just the latest example. You got to be able to finish in the get some points in the red zone, whether it's touchdowns, ideally, or even field goals, because that at least put some points on the board. You don't want to go into the red zone and then come out empty, because that's not going to give you chances if you need those points later on in the game, or if you're in a situation where you need those points now. You don't want to leave it. You don't want to just go back into go back to the bench and regret not getting any points. So you just got to take the points where you can. And then number three, it's mental toughness. Obviously, the outs, like everybody's saying, like there's gonna be there's been a lot of outside noise this week about Iowa State taking this loss, how bad the first half was. You just got to be able to flush out that performance, not let it affect like the game plan for this week. I mean, a lot of people were talking just about how bad that first half was, and I feel like that's been blown out of proportion still this week. So you just got to be able to flush that. You just got to focus on this game and really just mental toughness, physical toughness, mental toughness. Your mentality is going to be tested, so you got to come up with a killer mentality and not let anything deviate you from doing what you want to do and executing to the level that you know you can.
Yes, I agree with all those points. For me, we got to start fast, man. So, like you said, finish these drives, and get off the field defensively. Second, get the crowd out of this game early. I believe I believe this might be a blackout game for them.
I believe so.
Yeah, so in a game like this, when it's their blackout game, what you want to do as the road team is to get out of this team early. Get this team out of sorts early. Get the crowd of the thing, because the longer that they're in the game, the crowd is going to keep this team in this game. The longer you keep this team in the game, the more that they're going to believe. So get the crowd out this team early, and third, yeah, have some mental toughness. Like we talk about this team battling through adversity. Let's see if they can do that this week. And hey, and now let's say you win this, and then you still have everything in front of you. This upcoming part of the schedule um, is then going to be the most important part of this year. So with that being said, we're going to do score predictions. Cody, what do you think?
Um, Let me, if I really shoot at this and look at this game, obviously Colorado's gonna the spread open. Okay, so I'm looking at ESPN. The spread open at -4.5 for Iowa State. It's down to 2.5. So this is trending in the same direction that Cincinnati was. But I think this time, with the way Iowa State lost, I think usually with Matt Campbell, they don't. I mean, I did see Jack Trice Mafia, or so they posted something about like Iowa State teams following a loss or something. They like lose like their second game, or it was some weird wacky statistic that was brought up, and I think that's not going to happen this time. Let me see if I can find it. I don't remember, but let's see here. Nope. Yeah, just all this like. Oh wait, yeah. Here it is. Here it is. Jack Trust Mafia said this since 2022. Every time Iowa State football picked up its first loss, it has followed up with it losing a road game it was favored to win. And he said it was crucial to buck this trend. Yeah. I mean, so far this year, Iowa State has done a great job at bucking a lot of trends that past teams have been known for. So it's another opportunity to do so. So for Iowa State, I think they're going to buck that trend, which is really wacky. And I think this one's just going to be close to the end, and Iowa State's going to probably need a game-winning drive, or they need to hold off Colorado, and I think they do. And I can see this game ending up. The over/under is 52.5, so this could be a 31-27 or 31-28 game in favor of Iowa State.
Okay, nice, nice. All right, for me, I actually think that Iowa State's going to pull away in this game. I also think that the defense is going to be able to force Caden Salter to into some interceptions. I think they'll maybe get 2 turnovers, and I think this game is close in the third quarter, but I think Iowa State pulls away in the fourth. I have Iowa State winning this game 31-21.
Okay.
So we move to 6-1, and then we will move into probably like we said, we said that we were going to be at this point, but we're going to get to this point, and as we get off into this bye week, probably in that Sunday show, this we're coming into to where we're really going to see if Iowa State is who they say they are, and going into this part of the season to where if you want to be in the Big 12 championship, this is where you're going to prove it, because these next 3 games coming up, man, what an opportunity. But with that being said, we're now going to take a look at the Big 12 and the national state. So I'm going to share my screen as we go and look into that.
Oh yeah, the tidbit that we mentioned: Colorado, BYU, Arizona State is our next games. This is also from Jack Trice Mafia. Iowa State's next three opponents are the three other teams that all tied for first place in last year's Big 12 regular season.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just gotta shout out Jack Trice Mafia for finding out these ridiculous things. I love it.
It's all
It's
coming full circle.
yeah.
All right. So we're gonna start off with the 11 o'clock games. So we have the Cincinnati Bearcats coming fresh off of the win against Iowa State at home. They are facing off against the UCF the Central Florida Golden Knights. Yes, Central Florida. Um, so we're gonna see if Cincinnati is good, and as they say they are. I think they will cover the spread. But yeah, Cincinnati facing off at Nippert against UCF at 11 a.m.
You know it's crazy. Cincinnati is also doing a blackout like Colorado.
Interesting.
At an 11 a.m. blackout is very interesting. And I think they're not the only team that's done it because I know. Oh, but yeah, Cincinnati's also. So now they're doing a script helmet as well for that game. So they're busting out a new script Cincy helmet for that game as well.
So they're copying us. I see.
Kind. Well, I guess it's fair enough when you just beat us. You could just you could pull a Debo and steal our chain. I can't even argue.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what they did because they did the whole like
We just
they did the whole weather advisory
yeah,
thing
yeah,
and then
yeah,
played
yeah.
Thunderstruck. I'm like, oh wow.
Wow. Okay. But I can't even hate because I think we would take something from them if we win that game. We would take something from them as well. So
No, I like that. You got to pump it up. You got to pump it up. I love that.
oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I got to hear it on the broadcast. That was really cool.
Yeah, I'd love if we still stole that. We got to Debo them to do something. But but okay. And then we have another 11 o'clock game. This is a TNT game. So if you have TNT or HBO Max, make sure to tune into this game. Houston has a chance to have a get right game against Oklahoma State and Boone Pickens.
Yeah. I mean, what do you- I think this is more. I think this game's going to show more about Houston than it does Oklahoma State because Oklahoma State is they are just it's god awful. But for Houston, you want to be able to rebound after getting your ass handed to you. Excuse my French by Texas Tech, and I mean Texas Tech. We'll talk about later. I mean, Texas Tech has proven to be the clear favorite to win the Big 12. They are the clear number one team. So for Houston, I think it's probably not too bad on you because you got handed to you like the way Utah got it handed to them by Texas Tech. So I think yeah, you're Houston. You want to just you can just shake that up. It's like okay, that was a really good team. Now we got to go out and take care of our business and get back on the right track. And no better place to do it than in Stillwater when you're 14 and a half point favorites. So for Houston, you just got to go out and take care of your business and maybe Connor Wegman lights up the scoreboard.
That's what I think is going to happen. And then we have another interesting game in the 2:30 slot. We have TCU going on the road to Bill Snyder Family Stadium against the Kansas State Wildcats, who lost a heartbreaker last week in Waco against the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, Kansas State coming off that loss at Waco in Wake. Doors halfway through the fourth quarter, but then you give up. Was it 18 points?
Yeah,
including a go-ahead field goal that eventually won the game, and then you had your field goal block. So the wheels are still falling off. Even when you think they're finally back on, even when you tighten up the nuts and bolts of the wheel, they're still subbing. Maybe it fell off the axle, so things are still going down south for Kansas State, and they really need this to even show a pulse. And I don't know, but I mean,
yeah.
TCU's only a 1.5 point favorite, which is kind of crazy. That begs
Well,
me to believe that Kansas State can win this game.
Yeah, I saw the line at TCU 1.5. I'm like, oh, they must be inching closer to pick 'em, or people think that Kansas State's going to win this game. And then we have one at 6:30 on Fox
Ooh, okay.
at Jones A&T and T. I think this is going to be an underrated game. The line's at 14.5. Kansas going on the road to Texas Tech. Man, I don't know if Kansas is going to win this, but I definitely think that they can cover this spread.
Okay. The thing is with this is Texas Tech's homecoming game.
Oh,
There's a lot of pomp and circumstance going into this game. They brought out new uniforms. They also unveiled a whole new logo that they're going to be doing the next year. Did you see the new logo that they're going to be using
yes, it
starting in
looks.
2026?
Apparently, it's an ode back from the '60s to 1999 logo, but the bevel looks so much better. The new one looks so basic.
Basketball jerseys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also we got yet another blackout game because this homecoming game for Texas Tech is also a blackout. So
I
how
don't
about
I
that?
don't I don't I do not ever want to hear about any other Big 12 team about talking about us wearing our black jerseys ever again. Well, black is our school isn't our school colors, man. Shut up. Nah.
Okay, listen, it's a weird thing. Like we'll get to the national slate later, but I mean, I'll just say this: if we kept like the Brock Purdy style black uniforms or like the color scheme of that, I would have been fine with it. I love the little gray detail as well in the collar. I would have loved for us to keep that somewhere, maybe like on the number outline, because the ones we have right now, I think those could be upgraded. We need a little bit of trim on like on the stripes, and I would have loved to
Yeah.
not to get
Yeah.
into the rabbit hole of the uniforms, but yeah, I think there could be improvements made on it. But anyways, we're gonna move. We'll save that discussion for another day. But we've got some games that go a little bit later, as we got number 18 BYU traveling to Tucson to take on the Arizona Wildcats. And I did see the weather report that there was gonna be a hurricane or some like a weather storm heading into Tucson. And I saw somebody make a joke that Tucson, Arizona is going to be soaked before the Mormons even showed up. I don't remember
Oh
what you call
man.
it in the Pacific that has the U.S. It's like tsunami or something or something.
If it's a dust storm, it's a haboob.
Yeah, but I think it's coming from the Pacific Ocean. It's going to go through Baja California and then into Arizona. It had the same shape as a hurricane, but it's probably not the correct term. But it's got a similar vibe to it. So who knows if it somehow rains to Tucson? Yeah, let the joke write itself.
Wait a minute. If it's in the Pacific Ocean, wouldn't it make it a cyclone?
I think so. Or
Ah.
it's either that or the Indian Ocean. It might be the Indian Ocean, but it's one of those two. But I'm not a meteorologist, so don't take
Me
my word for it.
neither. Don't take our word for it. We're just a couple of guys who like to talk ball, so we don't
Yeah.
know weather. So don't crucify us. All right, yeah, and this could be a letdown side because next week is the Holy War. So yeah, BYU needs to make sure that they're on point in this one, and they don't overlook Arizona because this is going to be a really good game. I'm excited to watch this one.
Oh yeah. No, I'm looking at the forecast for it. There's gonna be a heavy thunderstorm projected on that Saturday in Tucson.
Oh, interesting. In the desert. Okay.
Yep. And then our nightcap, we've got it's back. We still have it. It's still alive. We got Pac-12 After Dark. It's been rebranded. It still lives on. We've got number 21 Arizona State traveling to Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Utes. It doesn't matter what the big money guys, the big money executives do. You can't kill the concept of Big 12, Pac-12 After Dark.
Yes, I love it. Pac-12 after dark, Big 12 after dark. I love it, man. I'm probably gonna try to at least probably get one half of this game before I had to go to work the next day.
Oh
But
yeah.
man, yes, this is gonna be crucial for its standing is in this game because the good thing about for this for Iowa State is that a lot of these teams are going to be playing one another by the time we play again. going on for when we play for our homecoming game. So it's going to be interesting. This is a really really fun conference slate. With that being said, let's go into the national slate because there are some very good games this weekend.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of the slate right now, we've got some mid-major action going on. Tulane is up 12-0 on East Carolina with about a little over 30 seconds to go before halftime. Jacksonville State is up on Sam Houston 10-7. That game's in the second quarter. Down to the Sun Belt, Southern Miss is up 14-7 over Georgia Southern. And then you've also got Louisiana Tech at Kennesaw State. So you've got a lot of group of six. But really to look out for, you got to look out for that East Carolina Tulane game, because for Tulane, they want to still be both teams want to be in the race for the G6 bid out of the American to keep up with Memphis, North Texas, and Navy.
Yes, and speaking the of the group of six, look at this fun matchup tomorrow.
Woo!
You have South Florida going on the road to Denton to play North Texas, and look at the over under. The over under for that game is 66.5. I can't wait to watch that one.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, this is a big game for the Mean Green in North Texas. I saw that it was either the athletic director or like the university said they're gonna cancel all classes that start after 12 o'clock p.m. So you're only gonna get a half day of classes, so that way all the students can go tailgate, everyone can tailgate and get ready for that football game. So that's a great move by the university, knowing you got a very important game, and with the historical season so far that North Texas has, you want to get as much fan support as possible. So this is the message. So I'm going to read some of the message from the North Texas president, Harrison Keller. It said, in the spirit of rallying for the full Mean Green community, classes will conclude at 12 o'clock p.m. on Friday, October 10th. And managers are also encouraged to work with employees who wish to adjust their schedule so everyone has the opportunity to join the pregame festivities and fill the stadium in support of our team. So yeah, that's big. Like if your school is doing that, then you know this game is big. And I love seeing that out of college football, versus like just the support that these group of six schools have, and it's going to be on a big stage for them.
Is North Texas still undefeated?
Yeah, they are undefeated in the American.
Wow, this is going to be a hell of a match. I can't wait to watch that tomorrow.
Yeah, they're currently 5-0. Yeah, with wins over. Yeah, their latest win was over South Alabama, 36-22. So, I mean, I'm looking at the race of the American. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams all undefeated. But obviously, you got to keep up with Navy and Memphis in the race for the American. So
yeah, that's unreal because I think Memphis is still undefeated right now.
Yeah, they're undefeated. Navy's still undefeated. Obviously, South Florida's only got that one loss to Miami. So realistically, this is the perfect game to start your weekend of college football.
Yes, this is going to be a great game. We have Rutgers, Washington, and Fresno State, Colorado State to end out the Friday slate. But man, we got to look at this 11 a.m. slot. It is going to be a fun one. You have Ohio State, and this is the big noon game. Ohio State going on the road to Champaign to play the Illinois Fighting Illini. Another road test for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, I think up to this point, some people may say that Ohio State hasn't necessarily been too test. I mean, they haven't maybe looked that as impressive as their ranking shows. Obviously, the game against Texas, that may not age well, considering Texas has lost to Florida, only winning that game by 7. And then the performance at Washington, we just saw Washington. They're playing tomorrow. Washington were in that game for a while until Ohio State ultimately pulled away. But I think that shows that Washington may be a better team than a lot of people think, and Ohio State may not necessarily be what their record says. They did beat Minnesota 42-3 on Saturday night, but I don't know if that's saying much. So I think this is Ohio State's first real test in the Big Ten to see if they are legitimately the team to beat and still showed signs of them being the reigning defending national champions.
Yes. And then we also have number 8 Alabama going on the road to play Missouri. This is going to be an interesting test for Alabama as they beat ranked Vanderbilt at home last week. Missouri, this is a chance for them to show that they are worthy of what the record says they are.
Yeah, it's still crazy to me how Missouri has played 5 straight home games, and this is going to be their 6th and final one. So I think if you're Missouri, you want to end your home stand like the start of the first half of your season all being at home. You want to end it off with a bang. And what a way to do it if you beat this Alabama squad.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to start the season, especially since this is your final game at home for the year, which I've never seen before. That's
Or
absolutely
well,
insane.
or at least like this stretch because they do have 2 more home games, but it's still crazy that up to this point they played all the games at home. So your final home game until you have to hit the road for a couple of games. But yeah, why
No,
not?
definitely.
Yep.
For the next game I want to look at is Maction. I think this is the battle on I-75. You have Toledo going on the road to Bowling Green. Toledo is an 11.5 point favorite in that one. So that one's going to be interesting. But man, the 2:30 slate, boy, man, you have a top 10 matchup. Indiana going on the road to Outson as they play Oregon. This
And
game I'm excited about, dude.
and this is the CBS game. So, oh, dude, the presentation. You know, anytime CBS plays, that's my preferred network to watch college football on. You know, the presentation is going to be beautiful, and what a matchup to put on CBS. Kurt Signetti, Trylon Otto to take on Dan Lanning. A lot of marbles at stake when it comes to the Big Ten race, and yeah, Indiana can legitimately prove that they are once again contenders for the Big Ten if they pick up this big win over Oregon. And not only that, at the same time, you've got the Red River for the for purposes, legal purposes, they call it the Red River Showdown or whatever. It's called the Red River Shootout to me. Number 6,
Yes.
Oklahoma takes on Texas, and it does sound like John Mateer may be trying to give it a go. Mateer has been out with injury, and it looks like they're gonna Oklahoma's Brad Venables is gonna monitor Mateer, and they're maybe try to get him good enough to go in this Red River Shootout.
Yeah. I was about to say that. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Cody. Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see if material lines up in place for that game because this is a game that this is one of the games that you come to Oklahoma for. It's to play in this game. So that one is always gonna be fun. I like that. I still gotta get used to that game being at 2:30 now instead of at 11 a.m. But let's see. We're gonna look down the line. Let's see. This game at 3:15 could be interesting. We have Arkansas going on the road to Rocky Top. And then the 6 p.m. slot is pretty interesting. We have Florida going on the road as a 7.5 point underdog after a huge win against Texas. They go on the road to Kyle Field and play Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean, you got anything else to say like regarding Florida and their chances?
I mean, their defense played well last week, and I think, like I said, Wilson, the freshman receiver, him and DJ Lagway had some chemistry. So hey, maybe their passing offense can get it going. So watch out for Florida in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we also, oh yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of Texas A&M, you know, I gotta. I don't think we said this on Sunday. We mentioned color, like uniforms. I got a problem with with Texas A&M. They showed off some new black and white new blackout jerseys. They did exactly what we did with our jerseys, and they went full black and white.
Everybody hates us, bro.
What?
That's why.
Like why? Why is it
I
a
don't
problem
know
if we like wear just straight black and white, but Texas A&M does it? People like actually look like there's not as much flack for it. What? What?
because they have money. Because they have money.
Yeah, all that money to do what? Go 8-4, not sniff
Yes.
an SEC championship. I don't think they have gone anywhere near it since Johnny Manziel was quarterback.
And even then, they weren't even close.
No, it's still ridiculous to me how they let Texas A&M do it just fine, black and white. But ah, I it annoys me. It just annoys me so much that Texas A&M was able to get away with it. Meanwhile, we caught flack for it. We're clown for it. It's ridiculous. Like I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, Iowa State is where school colors." Okay, then what is A&M doing? And don't give me the whole thing that white is technically a part of the school colors. They mostly wear maroon. Okay, I don't know what we're
Exactly.
doing. Like, what are we doing? Are we using
Like,
white
what are
and
we
black
even
as
doing
actual
here?
school colors? Those are pretty uniform, if you ask me.
Yeah, they are, man. It's so stupid. All right, another game at 6 p.m. Oh boy. The battle for the Heartland Trophy. Iowa goes on the road to Madison to play Wisconsin. The over under in this game is 37 and a half.
oh, oh
Bet the
man.
under. Bet the under.
Oh, this is peak Big Ten West football, baby. This is peak Big
Oh
Ten West football.
God. That
Somehow,
is
some way,
horrible.
we've gone from a game that, like, I think we had what that was like 66 and a half to 37 and a half. And if you
Good
were
Lord.
to, and somehow, some way, we live in a world where both teams, like, Iowa's a 3.5 point favorite, and you know dang well that Luke Fickle is going to be fighting for his job because people have been calling for his head in Madison at Camp Randall in Madison. So for Luke Fickle, I think this is a must win for him.
Oh
Otherwise,
yeah.
he may be seeing the door. He's going to be seeing the door if he doesn't win this game against Iowa. And for Iowa, I mean, you still got to monitor the health of Mark Ganowski. It sounds like he's back at practice. He's moving, but they're still going to monitor him. And if he's not good to go, it might likely be Hank Brown, or they could have limited snaps. But we have to keep an eye out for that situation. But man, this is going to be the perfect mid off. It might be worse than a mid off. This thing might be an absolute toilet bowl.
It is going to be an absolute toilet bowl. I mean, that's a snoozer. So do not watch that at 6 p.m. That's torment.
Unless you're there to hate, unless you're hate watching both squads, which in
Unless
that
you
case,
hate watching both schools, yeah, then I mean, I still wouldn't hate watching that shit. Is horrible.
yep.
All right, we're gonna look at some stuff in the 6:30 slot. We have the was it the Deep South oldest rivalry at 6:30. We have Georgia going on the road to Auburn at Jordan Hare. This game is always has something kooky or crazy going on, and then number 15 Michigan goes on the road to USC. So game is going to be an interesting game, interesting matchup to see if USC can maybe get a top 15 win at home after maybe letting go of a game they probably should have won in Champaign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for USC, there's it's an opportunity for them to legitimize themselves, and legitimize themselves back into the race potentially. I don't know if they say playoff, but definitely have a really good season. And I mean, but also at the same time, USC cannot overlook Michigan because the week after they got to play at Notre Dame. So two really important games for them coming up. So obviously you want to be, if you're the Trojans of Southern California, you got to win both, or you got to at least win one of those. And I think starting on the right path with the win against Michigan would be huge. And I mean, real quick, I remember you saw the graphic for the South Carolina LSU game where it's like 7 o'clock or 7:30 or 7:45.
No, show it to us.
I gotta see the. I think it was South Carolina football. Football or 7:30 because it was somewhere like I don't remember like. Yeah, I can't find it, but there was a graphic that that the meme was that South Carolina couldn't figure out what time they wanted to play LSU, but yeah, they're playing at 6:45 local time in case anybody cares. But yeah, that's pretty much the slate ahead, and I mean this one may on paper look like a snooze fest, but we see what happens. Who knows if even more chaos is going to happen. So yeah.
These are usually the weeks that the weeks that nobody thinks anything is going to happen is when the chaos usually happens. Like last week, we didn't think anything was going to happen last week, but like 3 or 4 ranked teams went down. So I mean, like these are the weeks that you live for. And we're getting to a point in the sports calendar where every single sport's basically happening. We're almost at the sports equinox where basically every single sport is happening at the same time. So
Man.
yeah,
It's crossover season. There's a few more sports that we got to talk about. Obviously, football has been the big thing, but also basketball is coming up soon for Iowa State. We just had
Yes.
media days today, so the Cyclones got to talk with media about what to expect. Tamin Lipsey, that's been one of the big stories. Is Tamin Lipsey's injury update. He's on the path to recovery. He's week 2 of recovery, and on the timetable he got for his grade 2 MCL sprain was 4 to 6 weeks. So he looks to be on the right path to playing against, or at least in the regular season, like the conference, the non-con opener. But he won't be expected to play in the exhibitions against Creighton and Northwestern. And that's on the men's side. The women's side of things, there have been some moves when it comes to the women's basketball team. Star center for Iowa State, Audie Crooks, has been named as Big 12 preseason player of the year.
I saw Addie Brown once too.
That was the all Big 12 preseason team. Addie Brown and Audie Crooks. Audie got the player of the year preseason nod. And also in the preseason coaches poll, Iowa State is number 2 in the coaches poll with 2 first place votes. So they're behind TCU, and they're ahead of the likes of Baylor, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia. So this could potentially be a big year for them. And then if we hop over from that, volleyball, dude, they've been on a heater this year. 13-2 on the year, and they just picked up a crazy 5-set win over Kansas State yesterday, where it was the Reagan Hanfeld show. Star freshman out of Ankeny, Iowa, a local product. So really getting to see her shine to replace middle blockers and Miri Hendricks Walker and Tierney Jackson, who are both out with injury. Aaliyah Goolsby continues to be an impact freshman. And they've got themselves a really interesting road trip traveling to number 15, Kansas. And I believe that game's going to be on national television tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So if you're looking for some cycling sports to hold you over until Saturday, go watch the Lady Cyclones on the volleyball court, because they're going up against a pretty good Kansas squad.
All right. Thank you for the other sports updates, Cody. Let's go Cyclones volleyball. All right. As we always, we want to give a thank you to our sponsor, FanDuel. As always, if you know ball make money, there's tons of fun promos that they have out right now. I feel like we said, the sports equinox is coming. So if you want to make bets on the NFL, make bets on playoff baseball, which has been pretty interesting. I believe Cubs Brewers, I think it's tomorrow. And I believe the first team to advance is the Toronto Blue Jays, who won 3-1 over the New York Yankees.
Yeah. I think actually the Cubs and Brewers, no, they're going on right now. It's going on right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Alongside the Phillies and Dodgers. Dodgers lead the NLDS series against the Phillies 2-1. Milwaukee holds a 2-1 series lead over the Cubs, so the Cubs are looking to force a Game 5. Same thing with the Phillies. And yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays are awaiting either the Mariners or the Tigers, who will be playing in Game 5 tomorrow.
It'll be nice to see Detroit, Toronto's ALC. So that'd be cool.
Either way, we win.
Yeah, either way we win. Hopefully the Brewers finish it today. I'm a hater, but go White Sox. Yes. So with that, we're gonna end the show today. You can find us on social media, 6 forms of social media: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. On Twitch, you can find us at Believe in ISU 2025. Everywhere else, you can be found at Believe in Iowa State. Also, we are mostly on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter. I can be found at the handle SciTi Guy. Cody can be found at the handle Full Matt Campbell. So for the show, for Tyler Carter
and for Cody Van Seelen,
this is the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Roll Clones, baby.
Go Cyclones.